Beginning with the 2014 STAAR testing, certain students receiving the accommodation of oral administration will have the opportunity to test online. This presentation will guide you through some of the information offered by the Texas Education Agency about this standardized oral administration. The Standardized Oral Administration, or SOA, for the State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness Program will be offered statewide as an online option for oral administration in several grades and subjects. This option is available for students in 4th grade for reading and mathematics, in 7th grade for reading and mathematics, and in 8th grade for science and social studies. The SOA is not available for students being tested with a STAAR modified exam. Although the SOA is visually similar to the paper version, it is necessary for students to practice the online testing so they are comfortable with the controls. This practice version is available on the TEA site to familiarize users with the SOA and its embedded supports, such as the accessibility panel. The SOA features this text-to-speech accessibility panel so users can hear selected text in the test questions, answer choices, and graphics. This mirrors what is allowed in the traditional paper format for oral administrations. This accessibility panel allows users to decrease or increase the rate of speech and volume, as well as start and pause the speech. Remember, it is important that students be familiar with how to use the supports they need, so navigating the online practice test is essential. The SOA not only provides the text-to-speech accessibility panel, but other supports as well. In the top left corner is a toolbar with markup tools, including a highlighter, pencil, eraser, notepad, and more, depending on which exams the student is being tested on. Let's take a closer look at the toolbar in the mathematics test. The math tests make the line tool and the dot tool available to users, while those are not necessary in the reading tests and are therefore omitted. To use any of these markup tools, the user simply clicks once, but that can be confusing for novice users, and the importance of preparing our students cannot be stressed enough. Here are some examples of the markup tools in use on the Grade 8 Social Studies exam. Remember, to be eligible for this accommodation, students must be receiving oral accommodations regularly, independently, and effectively. To ensure they are tested properly, the student can be using the district's own text-to-speech software. The markup tools provided in the SOA are also available in the software provided by the district. For elementary school students, the district has provided Write Out Loud on every computer, and every elementary school student has take-home rights. The middle school students have the entire Solo suite loaded onto every computer on each campus. That is, Read Out Loud, Write Out Loud, Draft Builder, and Co-Writer. Each middle school student also has take-home rights for that software. Similarities exist between the toolbar in the SOA and the toolbar as seen here in the Write Out Loud. The Write Out Loud can be adjusted for each user's need. An array of individualized changes can be implemented, including putting the user into test mode so they cannot access the internet, and even removing the toolbar to eliminate that as a distractor. Here's some advice for teachers and users who may be new to Write Out Loud. There are many ways to acquire digital text. However, here is one simple way to start. Just copy-paste. Open up both the Write Out Loud and the Word document, Internet, or PDF where you have your text stored. Select the text you need by highlighting it. Then right-click and go to Copy. Go back into Write Out Loud and paste that text you selected by clicking on the Edit menu and then clicking on Paste. Users can hear that text by clicking on the Speak button in Write Out Loud. For the VDI computers which have recently been installed in computer labs and libraries, limitations with the sound have been noted on the first run-through. However, those issues will have been resolved when listening to the text the second time. Using this Write Out Loud software is an excellent way to prepare students for the SOA and for building comfort with using text-to-speech software independently. As with any STAAR accommodation, we must ensure that the student qualifies for oral administration by reviewing the TEA accommodations triangle. This accommodation allows test material to be read aloud to students with disabilities. That determination must be made by the student's committee and is specific to each individual student and their needs. In addition to the requirement for a student using an accommodation independently, regularly, and effectively, considerations for eligibility in using this accommodation include student eligibility for services in special education, 504, or dyslexia. For students in special education, the decision for eligibility is made by their ARD committee. For students receiving 504 services, the decision is made by their placement committee, and for other situations, the appropriate personnel must be consulted as per the TEA accommodations triangle. The following information is taken directly from TEA. It is the responsibility of the appropriate team of people at the campus level, example, the ARD committee, the Section 504 placement committee, RTI team or student assistance team, to determine eligibility and document the level of reading support the student needs in the appropriate student paperwork. A student can request a change to the level of reading support provided during testing only if this option is documented. Test administrators must be made aware of the level of reading support each student is to receive and whether the student can change the level of reading support during testing based on the documentation in the student's paperwork. It is important to remember that if a student is taking an SOA, he or she will always be able to change the level of reading support during testing. For more information and resources, navigate to the Standardized Oral Administration page of the TEA website. From there you can have access to practice tests, student tutorials, and many more resources. Thank you for your attention. This has been presented by the Northeast ISD Special Education Department.